As you know, often when you try to engage young people in the classroom, it's sort of like pulling teeth. So when it comes to figurative language or figures of speech, one, what strategies do you utilize to engage them with lessons, activities that involve them comprehending and understanding what figurative speech is and wanting to utilize it on their own and wanting to identify it on their own in everyday life with their young people? What strategies do you use?
Well, I try and take it outside of the text. We do read a lot of chapter books, and we're on a particular series now. And for them to really understand and get engaged and get excited and see what good writers do, they're able to, because we've gone over the different figures of speech, have a deeper, clear understanding of what the author is saying. Now they get excited and understand that why the author maybe have exaggerated that expression. We also tie that in within the classroom of you can bring this into your writing to make it seem real life, to make someone want to be engaged or want to read, to give an underlying message and just not use the everyday words, to expand the language or the way that you use language when you're a writer. So that's one way through the chapter books, and they really enjoy it. And most of the time they'll be blurting out while we're reading the story and saying, is that onomatopoeia? Is that why they put that in there to really express or make that sound? Or was that personification? And then to really break down what is the author, or should I say the character, trying to say in the story. And then sometimes it allows for engaging discussion as to why maybe they put it in there or what they really meant by what they said.
What do you say to the critic or naysayer who says, that sounds great, but I have a few resource students in my classroom. Would those techniques work with them?
Yes, I do have one particular student that is a resource student, and just recently when his dad was dropping him off, he was in the hallway and he said, Mr. Are you all going over figures of speech? And I said, yes. And he said, because when we're at home and we could be watching something or we're reading a story together, and he'll all of a sudden just start blurting out, oh, that's a simile or a metaphor. He also, just as recently, he started in the classroom, but I see he's taking it home because of what Dad said. He will make some up on his own depending on what their conversation is. So I was really excited to see that, first of all, he was going home and discussing what we learned, but he's also able to make connections and expand it for himself in how he communicates, and what he's writing is getting him to be a writer, even though he is a resource student.
As you know, quite often young people believe that what they learn in schools stays in schools and has no application to the real world or to their lives. One of the things I think that we as educators often want them to do is to utilize some of the lessons, some of the concepts, some of the skills in their everyday lives. Have you noticed or had any other instances in which young people were utilizing figurative language or figures of speech in their lives?
Just recently, we have come back from vacation, and so I was engaged in a discussion with one of my young students, and he was mentioning that over break, in listening to his grandparents have a conversation and some of his aunts and uncles, before he really didn't understand what they meant. Back in the day, we may have called them, cliches or phrases that were said, but he was able to say, I could tell that they were really using the idiom, Mr. Jabari, or really using personification, and he was able to make that connection, and he felt even better about himself because